Les Roy Williams, myview.com. I have about 3 questions. The first one is, why the choice of name? The People's Labour Party, why did you choose that name? The second question has to do with the SIDF, the Sugar Investment Diversification Foundation. What I want to know is that, did you have full knowledge of the setting up of the fund, apart from the consolidated fund? And if so, did you object to it? Because there's a lot of objection now to the SIDF fund and how the monies are being used to sort of, what some people claim, to sort of run a campaign. The other thing is about campaign financing. How do you intend to finance your campaign? I mean, recently there was some workshop about campaign financing, and one of the things that it said that there needs to be more transparency in campaign financing, because we know that money introduces serious distortions in the democratic process. And we know right now who is wielding the money. The other question is, the Prime Minister has said repeatedly that both you, Mr. Harris, and you, Mr. Conda, have betrayed the people of Labour. He said that you are traitors, that you are hypocrites, that you have used the party for your own self-aggrandizement. And now that you have had enough, you have basically shoved the party aside. How would you respond to the Prime Minister? And the last question, what would be distinct, different, unique about the PLP from that of the SKNLP?
In terms of the name, why PLP? It's really the people's choice. We have had several suggestions, recommendations. In fact, you will be surprised how many people out there claiming that they are responsible for this name. Everywhere I go, they say, I'm glad you choose my name. I'm glad you choose that name, because that is the name I recommended. So it is basically the people's choice. And we are pleased, we are comfortable with it. And if I may add, that everybody thought that there should be something to do with the Labour. People were saying the Progressive Labour Party, the Democratic Labour Party, and something Labour, because they believe that's where our orientation and the values and the traditions and the beliefs and the philosophy and so on. And like we said, we are not straying from that. We believe that is essential to government, essential to run the country. We believe in those basic philosophies, but we don't believe in Douglas, because that is not the St. Stephen's Labour Party of Manchester and Sebastian and Challenger and France and so on. That is Douglas Labour Party. And so we want to show people what the Labour Party is really about. So that's the name. In terms of being a traitor, well, I don't know how anybody could call me a traitor, or Timothy Harris for themselves, but Tim will speak for himself, I'll speak for myself. All I've ever done is to give service. In fact, I could have stayed in government. You know, in fact, I have sacrificed everything. Nobody could point to anything that I have achieved in this government materially except my salary. That's all I get. I have nothing. In fact, if the Prime Minister wants to say about who get, he should introduce the Public Integrity Life Bill, Integrity in Public Life Bill. And then we'll have a count of who have and what they have. In fact, it would have been, you know, and look, the Prime Minister has done everything. He did everything to make sure that I didn't leave the government, you know. Everything. I mean, I have a text here, the last text, I've saved that, because, you know, the Prime Minister, he did it. where when I tendered my resignation, and that was not the first time that I ever offered my resignation, you know. But this time I decided that that is what I was going to do, and the Prime Minister called me, in fact. He texted me and said he wanted to speak to me about my resignation and so on, because, you know, he don't think that that is necessary and so on. But I make up my mind. But I could have stayed there. I would have been getting a salary. I don't get a salary now. I've done it at tremendous personal sacrifice. Yes. And I've given up that for the higher good of my country, for the benefit of my people. I have nothing to show. Like I say, I've not had any material thing out of this. All I provided is service. And all I asked for is an opportunity to serve my country. I ain't do it for a personal thing. I've never done it so. And I challenge anybody to say differently. And I'm willing to open myself to investigation to see what I have that I have done. I haven't achieved material anything that was not due to me. I get a salary, and that is the only thing I had from the government. Nothing else. And so I don't see. Douglas is who is the traitor to the cause of the Labour Party, the cause of the people. Not me. I am here to serve the people. I am here to serve the people. That's all I have ever done, and that is what I want to continue to do. I am in service to my people and my country.
Well, thank you. I think we got an answer there. We're hoping not this time that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis will not be bribed. They will take what they bring around in their bags, whether it is a pound of rice or macaroni or cornmeal or chicken, was it? In my constituency, they're doing that now. Pound of rice, they're doing all those. And so I am encouraging the people, take these things, but vote for Harris when the time comes. So the people will not be fooled. But it tells a fantastic story, though an uncomfortable story, that the government has failed the people and having pauperized them and made them worse off. Dr. Douglas thinks he can come now, send round people with a hamper, pound of rice, shame on him, to my people in Lodge Village, and pound of sugar in 2013 to ask people to vote for them. And a Vienna sausage. How low could we go? So I want you to tell the Vienna sausage candidate, the pound of bacon candidate, that my people in St. Christopher 7 will not be bought, nor are they for sale. The people will vote for a more empowering future, a future in which their government proper management of the economy would allow them to be able to buy their milk, their rice, their Vienna sausage in the quantities that they want and in the quantity that they deserve. We ain't want nobody come to us as if we are beggars to bring us these handouts with a view to, as it were, curry favor with us and really the outer order, because we don't want no curry favor with them at this time. So we will do things better. So that is in terms of the money. But we had perhaps an example though, because we saw an election recently in Nevis. I didn't go over there, but I hear you had big things and a lot of this and a lot of that. And the day after the election, many people were surprised that it appeared those who didn't have all these things to give had the love and confidence of the people, and they won. And they won. So it is, and it has proven elsewhere is not necessarily one with a lot of money. And Dr. Douglas has a lot of money. Indeed, he is one of the wealthiest prime ministers in the region. And we must ask him how come he came so wealthy while so many people are so poor that one of his candidates is offering people with his forwardness a tin of Vienna sausage and a pound of rice and a pound of bacon. That is where we have come. And so the betrayal could be easily answered. The betrayal could easily be answered because the worst betrayal of any type, apart from the betrayal of your conscience and your betrayal of your God, must be the betrayal of our country by a politician. And when a politician sees nothing wrong with taking up our lands and sending them yonder to his friend in Iran and Dubai, while ordinary people in Lodge and Atlas and St. Paul's and Sandy Point and Keon can't get a piece of land in the land of their birth. That is, and Phillips too, and everywhere else. That is a politician that has betrayed his sense of history, his sense of commitment to people. Because where did we come from? A history of deprivation, a history of being on the outskirts. Massa likes you, Massa give you a little piece of land on which to put your house, so long as you call a favor with Massa. And Bratcher went in the 70s to bring those lands for us to have an opportunity to be part of a property-owning society. And Dr. Simmons in the 80s paid for them to excite development in our country. And then come this man after. And this man after them came. And what has he done? Given back our lands. And not only our lands he has given away our passport, the meaning in us. Everything that we have for him is for sale to the highest bidder. Dr. Douglas has to understand, while money is good, money also could be the root of a lot of evil. And that is what's happening to us. And you talk about betrayal. What about the betrayal of people's trust when you have elected members put in parliament by the regular people and you have a Ricky Skerritt unelected by anybody and never will be elected in St. Kitts and Nevis? You have a Nigel what is his name? You had a man, these gentlemen with no power and no authority, and they are being given power to undermine elected people. When they undermine your representatives, it is an attack against you, the ordinary people, because you sent your representatives there to stand up for you, to fight for you. And when Dr. Douglas wanted to undermine the elected people, he said he will bring a senator bill. He wants 3 more. He wants 3 more yes men in the parliament. So then it doesn't matter. He even brought in one of them the wrong way. When we talk about power hungriness and we talk about betrayal. Betrayal of the democracy. Sam spoke to history. Well, go read Whitman Brown's book in which it tells you that Thatcher, the man given most credit as the most excellent leader of the Labour Party, fought colonial power, fought for democracy, fought for elected voices in the parliament. And Thatcher was saying, we don't want nobody just being put in parliament by somebody, be they governor or queen. Thatcher wanted elected people being the genuine voices of ordinary people in St. Kitts and Nevis, speaking and voting for them. Dr. Douglas betrayed that legacy and that history. Talk about betrayal, Dr. Douglas. What did you promise to do to John Paul, a black man in a black African country in the main, to sell him back in slavery? Because anything for you once money is involved. And when a leader insults one of our ordinary folks, who spent so many years working and laboring, and only asks a simple question. Dr. Douglas, you sell everything. You sell land, you sell scrap, you sell everything. And nobody accounting for what he's selling, you know. You ask him at any press conference, how much you have received from the sale. He say, I don't walk with that. You understand? This is a betrayal. And for me, the greatest traitor among the political class is the one that betrays his country. And Dr. Douglas has done a supreme job of that. I gladly give him the crown as a traitor par extraordinary. The SIDF fund, well, this is a special creature of Dr. Douglas. And it speaks to what we want to change in the new political dispensation. Dr. Douglas, sometime before they had the SIDF, there was a notion of a foundation to deal with the challenges of policing and so on. Dr. Douglas said, no, no, no. I'm not in favor of no foundation. And then some friends of Dr. Douglas who were interested in the sale of passport came back with this same idea. Well, maybe I should put it otherwise. They took that idea and they give it a different twist, but come back with a foundation. And he set up that foundation. Well, one of the things with Dr. Douglas, you can't be too sure. When cabinet is to begin, Dr. Douglas deliberately comes late. And then he rushes a decision to the cabinet. And he would not lay some of the papers. He will come and he will tell you, gentlemen, I have an investor out there waiting, you know. We need to get this thing off. And so he hurries you into decision making based on blinded faith that the leader meant well. That is in part why we end up with Stanford at the airport getting our lands at 68 cents per square foot, while you're paying $2.95 and $4 and all those lot of monies, because it was a haze. And I want to thank him though, if for nothing else, he admitted that when some of these very strange decisions were being made regarding the patrimony of the people, that he, Dr. Douglas, ensured that Sam and I, we were on lunch before he made them. So that answers that. But it doesn't really matter in the end what it was there. Once we now see how it is operating, because one could create any being, but once you realize the being not operating in a manner that is satisfactory, you should take corrective action. And we ask ourselves, is the SIDF working well? No. Do we know how many passports have been issued as a result of transactions involving the SIDF? No, we don't know. Do we have any proper accounting for it? No, we don't know. Do we know why person A got some money from the fund versus person Y? No, we don't know. We just know once Dr. Douglas is in it, something had to go awry in relation to its operation. And so that is a sad story. The SIDF needs revisiting to make it more accountable and responsive to the normal informational needs of the people. In an IMF letter, in an IMF report, the Economic and Financial Review for 2012, Dr. Douglas promised the IMF that the financial statements of the SIDF would have been made available by year-end. Just like the motion of no confidence, December gone, the financial accounts for the SIDF not made public for us, the people. January comes and it goes. No SIDF accounting. And we are now what? In June, going on July, no accounting. So we don't know all the finder's fees. We don't know in light of the new expanded SIDF management, with all the big names getting big money, whether a special person is still getting the management fees that we saw in the financial statement for 2009 and 2010. That is a creature of Dr. Douglas. Hide and seek. Hide the money from the people. Seek more money to the sale of the passport. And all of these are problematic areas of governance to which the PLP would have to respond in relation to that. And so on the question of governance, we will mark a fundamental difference and break with the legacy of Dr. Douglas. And the question of the place and positioning of our people, for us, our country, our people will guide us. No foreign interests should have a first choice for our resources before us. When the SIDF monies is being spent by 40 and 30 and 90 million and foreign interests, who should be bringing money in our country, you know? When the Christopher Harbour started, they promised us a marina soon to come, many hotels soon to come. It will be a new landscape over there. Go over there now. About 10 villas watching you. 10 villas, call them houses, expensive houses. It's that many. No marina there yet. No hotel there yet. No golf courses. And to fool us, the butterfly analogy, it was to be one of these most prestigious designers of a golf course to be built over at Christopher Harbour. 7, 8 years. None of that happening and nobody telling us the truth. And suddenly, this project financed by billionaires who had it all ready to assist our country suddenly need a bailout. But what happened to the rich man money? So that ours now have to be used. Those are the critical issues which we have to deal with. So we have fundamental tensions in terms of our approach to governments and government. And the Honorable Kanda outlined the elements of the philosophy, the people-centeredness, which will mark a difference in our approach. Thank you.